Om. 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Raghuji, will you do the Gita Dhyana shlokas?
पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनी अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमोऽस्तु ते व्यास विशाल बुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायत पत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारत तैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्न पारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् भीष्मद्रोण तथा जयद्रथजला गान्धारणीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थाम विकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदिः कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानकथेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाभूदितम् लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद् भारत पंकजं कलिमलः प्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतस्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः।
Om Sri Paramatmane Namaha. So let us go back to the last shloka of the Dhyana shlokas. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutas Tunvanti Divyais Tavaihi. So Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, they all sing the praises of this divine being with very divine praises. Right? Vedai Sanga Padakramopanishadai Gayanti Yam Samagaha. So Veda with the Angas of the Veda. What is the Anga? Vedanga, there are 6 Vedangas. Tiksha, phonetics or pronunciation. Vyakarana, grammar. Nirukta, etymology. Chanda, meters or the metrics of how prosody, another name. Kalpa, the rituals. And Jyotisha, astrology, astronomy. So Vedai Sanga, Sa Anga. Vedai Sanga Krama Padopanishade. So with all the Upanishads together, they sting out in glory. Samagaha in the meters of the Sama, in the tunes of the Samagana. Dhyana avasthita pashyanti yoginoho. In yes, please.
Yeah, sorry to this one. When you were saying,
We can't hear you.
So, yeah, he is talking about the Devas, and they are singing, and how are they singing? Using the Vedas. This kind of highlights and emphasizes the point. The Vedas were nothing but, when you talk about the rules of this entire universe, because that's what nature follows. Prakriti follows all the rules of the thing. They were put down into the Vedas. So the Vedas were the science of that time. They were whatever was understood as a science of functioning of the universe, they put it down at that time. And he is pointing out to the fact that the Devas, which is the entire of nature, the Prakriti, is singing the praise of the Parabrahman through the Vedas.
So, but they don't perceive him. So what does it say? It says he is perceived in a dhyana avastha. Dhyana avasthita. Sthita means to be situated in the dhyana state. What is the dhyana state? Dhyana state is the seventh state in the Ashtanga Yoga. It starts with saying, firstly, all the rules of doing things in a proper way, not doing things that should not be done, yama niyama. Then it talks about sitting in a particular way, asana. Sitting in that particular way that I talk about, I've always told you all, we talk about sitting in the chair. When we sit with our back erect and so on and so forth. Patanjali says that sukham sthiram asana, that in which you are comfortable and you can sit comfortably without moving. That is called an asana. So all the other things that we do, Kukkutasan, Mayurasan, Shalabhasan, whatever all these asanas that we do, they are all preparation to help our body to become strong and supple and keep our spine erect to be able to sit in one place. That is called asana. Swami Muktananda of this Bombay, Vajreshwari, he says that asana siddhi is when you can sit in a particular pose for 3 hours. Till that time, you have not got asana siddhi. So what is asana? Asana, according to the Bhashyakar on Patanjali, Patanjali himself has not defined it, but the Bhashyakar has, and says that, the Bhashya says that in the order, Padmasan, Siddhasan, Ardha Siddhasan, Vajrasan, Sukhasan. These are the 5 which are asanas. Why have they been graded like this? Because as we go down, the possibility of allowing you to curve your spine becomes more and more. Sitting in Padmasan, you cannot physically, it is uncomfortable to curve your spine. It's uncomfortable to slouch. Siddhasan, possible, still uncomfortable. Ardha Siddhasan, little bit more slouching possible. Sukhasan, normal alti-palti, you can slouch little bit. So these are the 5, he says, are the graded in which the asanas are there. To be able to sit in this asana, only then you start with pranayam. Again, pranayam, what is pranayam? Oh, not what Ramdev Baba Maharaj is teaching. Those are also pranayams. Those are methods of controlling breath. Pranayam is to be conscious of your breath. So when we breathe in deeply, to when we breathe out deeply, we stop doing shallow breathing, we deep with our complete diaphragm, that entire our body, mind, muscle takes the breath and slows it down. That is called pranayam. When our breath slows down, the mind starts slowing down automatically. We are slowing down the mind by slowing down our physical processes. So you learn to sit in one place, so you're physically not moving around. Then you learn to slow down your breath. Then comes the first point of saying pratyahara. Not getting disturbed by what is happening around you. Oh, just now while we are talking, suddenly there will be a doorbell and my attention will go there. And then I will think, who came? What did he do? कौन सा paper लेके आया? क्या sign करना है? Right? The moment that happens, pratyahara is not there. Pratyahara means to be able to bring your concentration into one place. Then he says dharana. That means to be able to hold your attention on one particular thing. So physically, first people start off by either watching a dot on the wall or putting a flame and watching that, and then slowly, slowly closing the eye and imagining that, or you can take a particular form of your Ishta, and then you start looking at that particular form and examining that form in great detail. So you are looking at the feet of Devi and you are seeing the toes, which are beautifully pink in color, and the alpana or the designs that have been done around her feet, and the nupur that she is wearing, and you can see all of that in your mind eye and nothing else is visible. That is called dharana. And then you come so close to this particular vision that that vision itself has become blurred. It is there, but it is blurred. And there is nothing other than that vision happening. No more thinking is happening. Perception is happening, no thinking is happening. Right? That is the state of dhyana. So dhyana still, there is you, there is me. Dhyana, the next stage after dhyana, difficult to call it a stage because it is actually the destination, is called samadhi. That is called samadhi, where you and me no longer exist. Right? That you, which I was perceiving, that perception has also gone. So what is the yogi doing? In the yogi, in the dhyana avastha, he can perceive. In the samadhi state, he cannot perceive because there is no more you and I to be perceived. There is no perception. There is no perceiver. There is nothing to be perceived. So here he says, dhyana avastita pashyanti. Pashyanti here does not mean sees, but obviously we have to interpret it as perceives. It's only in yoga state that you can do this. The last line says that the devas and the asuras, yasyantam na viduhu, the end of this cannot be seen, cannot be understood, not even, not seen, cannot be understood, cannot be comprehended by the devas or the asuras. So you may be very powerful, but unless you enter into the state of yoga, you cannot conceive of, and then you cannot perceive this eternity that he is. To such being, I bow down. Why did we go into this? Because this is very relevant to chapter 11. We talked about this earlier. And so just because we have had a very long break, I'm going to recapitulate. And we're doing a quick recap. Gurudev always talks about seeing the mud in all pots. And that's fairly simple by now, hopefully. By now we can see every gold ornament and realize that there is gold in there is gold. It is not an ornament, there is gold inside it. And I can see every human being, and I realize that inside this moving thing that is made out of the Panchabhutas and the mind and the intellect and the ego, the 8 things, the Dhrtarashtra as it is called, these lower 8 things, there is a superior thing called consciousness that is making this. This much, at least, I have understood. I have also understood that that person, when he is speaking, he has a power of speaking. And that power of speaking comes from that divinity. It is an expression of that divinity. That person, when he is seeing and sitting and he is drawing, painting, that expression has come to him because of the power of divinity. So every time I am seeing something happen, I am seeing the energy of divine being manifest. To explain that, he takes us to the 10th chapter, where he shows us the greatness of each of these. And he says, of all the mountains, I am Everest. Of all the seas, I am the Pacific Ocean. Right? Of all the rivers, I am the Amazon. Right? When he goes through that, what I call the chapter of superlatives, it is not because he is only the superlative and because he is the Amazon, he is not the Nile. No, he is only saying the Amazon itself, the power of the Amazon, there's water in that Amazon, is nothing but me. And therefore, by extrapolation, it is also there in the Nile, it is there in the Ganga, and so on and so forth. Correct? Now let us flip this and say, I look at the mud, I look at a heap of mud, and I can now say, I know all the possibilities that this mud can have. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. Right? We can do an exercise. Even right now, we can do that exercise. I'm going to give you, let us say, 5 minutes. Just mentally, let's do this exercise, not actually do it. And I'm going to give you 5 minutes and I will tell you that here is a sheet of paper. What are the things that you can do with it? Right? And I'll give you 5 minutes. Now, you will write down 10. Each one of us will possibly write down 10. 2 of them for each one of us will be common. Right? Paper, or you can write on it. Right? Most of us will have 2 common. 8 into 6, 48 things will come. Now we take this list of 48 things, we show it to the 7th person, and he will add 5 more. And you add to another person, and he will add another 6 more. And this can carry on indefinitely. And somebody will come, hey, you said you have not written down that you can make a paper aeroplane with it. You have not written that you can twist it and put it inside a plug hole to open up the earthing. All possibilities. Very, very difficult. To do that, we need to flip our perspective completely. And that is what chapter 11 is. So chapter 11 starts with that. The name of the chapter itself, you see, is Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. Now, if you look at how the chapter starts, the first shloka of the particular chapter, Veena, will you chant the first chapter? First we start. Atha ekadashodhyayaha Vishwarupa Darshana Yogaha. Arjuna. Carry on.
Uvacha Madanugrahaya Paramam Guhyamadhyatma Sanjitam Yatvayokam Vachastena Mohoyam Vigato Mama.
Very good. Now, he starts off by saying that Mad Anugrahaya. What is this Anugrahaya? What is this Anugraha? What is this blessing? Any thoughts? Out of your blessing to me, out of your compassion for me. What is this compassion? What is this Anugraha?
This is that what tortures Krishna went through from chapter 2 to chapter 10.
No, the word is
He
kindness.
went on explaining.
Right.
Yeah,
Correct.
kindness.
But kindness, Anugraha, the word literally means kindness. Right?
Yes.
Why is he saying you are kind? Why is Arjuna giving that upadhi of being an Anugrahi?
Because in spite of his questioning, same thing again and again and again, Krishna went on explaining him from all possible directions so that Arjuna understands.
Okay. Yes, Raghuji.
So, Arjuna has now realized that Krishna need not have given any of this knowledge to him. He need not have done this, yet he chose to do it. That is the kindness that he bestowed on Arjuna. He felt Arjuna was at the point where he could be taught this supreme knowledge, and he bestowed that knowledge. So that was the kindness.
See, Ramakrishna Paramahansa says that after having the stage of dhyana comes the next stage of samadhi. And for any normal human being, ordinary human being, once that person has attained that state of samadhi, the body will drop in another 21 days. However, there are beings, and this is Sri Ramakrishna himself explaining this, talking about this, says that there are beings who choose to go away from samadhi and come down. Coming down. Avataran. That is an avatar. A person who goes to samadhi and comes back down, comes down. When we say avataran, avatar, see, avataran karoti iti avataraha, right? Avataran karoti, he who descends. Will descend from where? From the 84th floor to the 2nd floor. There is no floor, right? So, this descent is here. From the Sahasrara, he brings his consciousness down to the Shuddhi, and he is able to speak. And why does he do this? In the Buddhist tradition, such a person is called a Bodhisattva. In the Jain tradition, such a person is called a Tirthankara. In the Sanatana Dharma tradition, such a person is called an Avatara. And all three, they are driven by one single thing, compassion. They are driven by the fact that, oh, I got free. And so many thousands and millions of people around me are yet trapped. Let me try and come and free them. Ramanujacharya was given by Yadavacharya, he was given by his, Yamanacharya, he was given the mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya. And he was told, this is moksha mantra. Don't give it to anybody. If you give it, sorry? So he was, don't give it to anybody. And the moment he was given, he ran out and he climbed up onto the Dhrajastamba of the temple and he called people and he said, I am giving you a mantra, take it. And so his guru comes out and he says, you will go now for 1,000 hells, 1,000 times, 1,000 births. You will have to go through hell because you disobeyed me and you gave this mantra. He said, I am ready to go through 1,000 times. I am ready to go through 10,000 times to hell if this mantra can give moksha to one person. Swami Vivekananda in his writings repeatedly talks about this. So that is the reason, there is anugraha. There is the reason there is a thing of anugraha. So he says, mad anugrahaya, right? Mad anugrahaya paramam guhyam adhyatma sanjitam. Paramam guhyam, supremely confidential. Why is this supremely confidential? Abhi in the Kumbh Mela, 20 crore Bhagavad Geetas were distributed by Gita Press Gorakhpur. 20 crore people have been distributed this knowledge. How is it paramam guhyam? बताइए
परम गुह्य इसलिए है क्योंकि इसको कोई भी सिर्फ पढ़ के या साधारण विवेक से बुद्धि से इसको नहीं जान सकता। जब तक इसे महसूस करके नहीं किया जाए तब तक आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते।
So it is not something that by reading you can experience, and hence it remains a very strong secret. Adhyatma Sanjitam, we all understand, right? Or spiritual knowledge. Yat Tvaya Uktam. Yat Tvayoktam. Yat Tvaya Oktam. That which has been spoken by you. Vachastena. Vacha, words. Tena, those, by those. Mohoyam. Moha ayam. This delusion. Vigataha mama. My delusion has been dispelled. What is that delusion? What is that delusion?
ये मेरा है, ये तेरा है,
Okay, one
ये अच्छा
is
है,
that.
ये बुरा है।
वो सारा delusions कहाँ से आता है?
मन से आता है।
उसका root cause क्या है? मन को ये delusion क्यों?
कामना, हमारी कामना।
कामना भी कहाँ से उत्पन्न होती है?
अज्ञान।
किस चीज का अज्ञान?
Attachment.
To what?
Having deha buddhi.
Correct, absolutely, Lalita ji. And I am this body, I am this mind, I am this intellect. root cause. Identification with BMI. That creates the attachment, that creates the linkage to the desire, that creates our running towards the desire, running away from our fear. All of that comes with this illusion that I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect. Where that illusion, vigataha, it is gone, he says. It is gone. Now we all know the history, so therefore we can say that yes, Arjuna may have got lost that particular thing for now, temporarily, right? I always say this in all satsangs. तो सत्संग के टाइम में एवरीबडी दो जगह में हर समय बहुत वैराग्य आता है. एक है जब आप खुद चूज करके सत्संग में जाते हैं, खुद चूज करके, हाँ प्लीज वर्ड्स बी वेरी वेरी केयरफुली नोटेड, दैट खुद चूज करके सत्संग में जाते हैं. आपने किसी का जबरदस्ती से आप सत्संग में नहीं गए हैं, तो वहां बैठ के आपके अंदर में वो वैराग्य आता है और आपको लगता है मैं देह नहीं हूँ, मैं मन नहीं हूँ, राइट. बहुत शांति है. और दूसरा है स्मशान के अंदर में जब जाते हैं तब बोलते हैं कि हाँ हाँ ये तो सब कुछ ही नश्वर है, everything, this is only a body made out of panchabhutas and all so on and so forth. Both these vairagyas are markata vairagya, right? What is markata? You know what is markata, na? So it jumps up and the next moment, right, the body is burnt, you come out, अरे रसगुल्ला का दुकान किधर है? 4 घंटे से बैठे हुए हैं बॉडी को बर्न करने के लिए. अरे 3 घंटे से स्वामी जी ने इतना लंबा अच्छा लेक्चर दिया मगर कुछ खाना वाना नहीं था उसके बाद. हो गया मरकट वैराग्य. वैराग्य इज गॉन. करेक्ट. सो being able to link into and continuously be in that state of having mohoyam vigata mamaha is to be in reflection. To reflect, to do manan after the satsang, whoever that satsang is, whatever that satsang is, whether it is this satsang, whether it is any other satsang, sitting down and doing that particular manan, only then can we be in that state. So he says, that has happened. My moha has gone. Now remember, by making such a declaration, I have learnt. A good teacher will never be happy. So you have to repeat back to the teacher what he taught. Then he says, okay, I have understood, right? We also say that when we are teaching, when I do in my corporate communication classes, in my corporate teaching, when I do communication classes, one of the things I talk about is, if you have given instruction, ask that person to play back that instruction to you. Then you know that he has understood the instruction, because otherwise we have filters in our mind. So what does he say in the next shloka? He is declaring how and why is my moha gone. So he says, Bhavapyayo hi bhutanam, Bhavapyayo hi bhutanam, Shruto vistarasho maya, Shruto vistarasho maya, Bhavapyayo hi bhutanam, Shruto vistarasho maya. Twatah kamalapatraksha, Twatah kamalapatraksha, Mahatmyam api chavyayam, Mahatmyam api chavyayam, Twatah kamalapatraksha, Mahatmyam api chavyayam, Bhavapyayo hi bhutanam, Shruto vistarasho maya. Twatah kamalapatraksha mahatmyam api chavyayam. Word meanings let us do. Bhava, appearance. Apyayaha means disappearance. He, indeed, bhutanam, of all these panchabhutas. Shrutau, having heard, vistarashaha, in great detail, maya, by me, twataha, from you, kamalapatraksha, O lotus-eyed one, Mahatmyam, greatness, api, also, cha, and avyayam, eternal. So I have heard about your eternal greatness, O lotus-eyed one. And I have heard from you in detail how this material world comes and how it disappears. Remember, we are in chapter 11. Chapter 11 is talking about Tat. It is talking about how this universe is and how the Tvam relates to this Tat. Correct? Kamalapatraksha. What is Kamalapatraksha? What is the meaning of Kamalapatraksha?
कमल कमल नेत्र, कमल के समान नेत्र वाले.
Kamal Nayan. Right?
Kamalanayan.
Why? So, let me tell you a story. Not related to Bhagavad Gita, but very interesting, very beautiful story. See, you have to understand that Valmiki's Ramayana is the only Ramayana which is an itihasa. All the other Ramayans, and there are more than 100, right, including an Indonesian Ramayana. All the Ramayans, they are all literature. They are all literature. And literary freedom has been given for each of the authors or poets to do whatever they wanted with that particular thing. So, there is an episode, for example, which in every Ramayana is very different. Let me give an example. In there is a Ravan comes and abducts Sita, right? Standard storyline. Everybody knows that. It is there in all stories. Ravan comes and abducts Sita. In Valmiki Ramayana, the description is quite gruesome. Right? He catches her hair, he catches her clothes, he pulls her, he drags her to the chariot. Now it reached Kamba of Tamil Nadu. He said, how can he touch Sita? So Ravan, he portrays this differently. He says that the earth on which she was standing, that earth was lifted magically and taken to the chariot. Then Tulsidas comes in. He says, how can he even take Sita? Sita is Jagannatha. So the Sita that he captured was what is called Maya Sita, an illusory Sita created for the purpose of Leela by Sita herself. And when she enters into Agni for the Agni Pariksha, the real Sita comes out, the Maya Sita gets destroyed. Right? So different stories. Krittivasa is a Bengali poet, and he wrote a Ramayana in Bengali. And it has a very beautiful, Bengal obviously has a slant of Devi worship. So over there, he puts in this story, beautiful story. Ram and Ravan are fighting. Ram realizes that he has to propitiate Devi before he can win over Ravan, because Ravan is also a Devi worshipper. So at that particular junction period between the Ashtami and the Navami, period of 45 minutes only, such a period is called a Sandhikshana. At that point, he decides to do a beautiful worship of Devi by offering 108 blue lotuses. He collected the 108 blue lotuses. He put them on a thali. And one by one, Om Shriyai Namaha, Om Shri Matrei Namaha, Om Durga Samharinyai Namaha. He goes on. He reaches the 107th name and he finds that the plate is empty. He has 5 minutes left for finishing the puja. Now, who is the go-to person in the Ramayana?
Lakshmana?
No, go-to person. Anything happens, you go to that person.
Hanuman.
No,
Obviously, right?
Hanuman.
Anything happens in our lives also. Anything happens, go to him first. He solves problems faster than anybody else. Always remember that. He is a better problem solver. See, Ram will take his time. He has a darbar. Hanuman has no darbar. He moves around. Ram ka darbar hai. The darbar ka rules hota hai. Right? You have to write an application. Triplicate mein application jayega. Then some Munimji will see that application. Then he will say, no. Oh, blue ink. Why did you write in blue ink? Please write it in black ink. All that will happen in Ram's darbar. Hanuman has no darbar.
Likhe kaja sakala tumasa, something like that, no? In the
Correct. Right? So, So therefore, the go-to person is called. Hanuman comes. He said, Prabhu, even I can't do. Because a blue lotus I brought from somewhere in the Himalayas. Now in 5 minutes, I can't go to Himalayas and come back. I will bring it, but it can't happen in 5 minutes. Now Ram says, how do I finish this worship? So somebody suddenly, he remembered. He used to be called lotus-eyed one. Padmapatraksha, Neelaksha, Neelanjana. Oh, these are beautiful names that people used to give me because of my blue eyes. My blue eyes look like lotuses. Let me take an arrow, take out my eye and offer it instead of a lotus. And he takes his arrow and he starts poking his eye out and Devi manifests. And she's gratified. She gives back the 108th lotus, which she had herself hidden. She had given it to him and he then offers it in the last and finishes his puja. So this has nothing to do with the Bhagavad Gita. It's a beautiful story. And therefore I said Kamala Patraksha. It reminded me of this particular story. So Tvatta Kamala Patraksha Mahatmyam api chavyayam. Then let us look at the third verse. Evam etad yatatha. Evam etad yatatha. Evam etad yatatha. Yat. So that's a combination word. Evam etad yatatha. Yat atha. Right? Atha means having spoken. Evam etad yatatha. Tvamatmanam parameshwara. Evam etad Evam etad yatatha. Tvamatmanam parameshwara. Drashtumichhami te rupam. Aishwaram purushottama. So now he's making a demand. Now he's making a demand. Let us look at the shloka again once. He says,
Sir, wouldn't you, the tvam, wouldn't you add it to the first part? Because you need 8 and 8, right? So if you then Atmanam Parameshwara is 8.
Evam etadyatatha tvam. No. Evam etadyatatha tvamatmanam parameshwara. This is correct. So evam etad yat atha. Evam.
Parameshwara is 5. Parameshwara.
It's not letters. It is syllables.
Yeah, I know. The syllables, you have 5 syllables in Parameshwara. So you need only 3 before that. Atmanam.
You are counting vara as different. Vara is 1 syllable.
Okay.
Vara is 1 syllable. Vara, syllables. That's why I said, don't look at syllables, not words, letters. So, evam etadyatatha. Evam, thus, etat, this, yatha, as, atha, having spoken. Tvam, you, atmanam, of yourself. Parameshwara. Parameshwara, Supreme Lord. Drashtum, to see. Ichhami, I desire. Te, your, Rupam, Aishwaram, divine, Purushottama. Oh Krishna, I want to see your divine form. Now, I want to see your, which form? He's saying, I want to see your form, which has the Aishwaram. It has all the divinities inside. I want to see that particular form. Now remember, we talked about this in the Dhyana shloka itself. We said, Dhyanavan, it says, Dhyana Vastha Sthita Pashyanti. I want to reach that stage where I can see that cosmic form. He's making a very big demand. He's making a very big demand. He's saying, please show me that particular form. Now, you have described it. In chapter 10, you have described it. You have given me descriptions. You have told me I am Ganga. You have told me I am Kamadhenu. You have told me I am Shukracharya. You have told me I am Brihaspati. You have told me I am sun. You have told me I am moon. Now I want to see all of that, which means I want to be able to see the sun, the moon, the Ganga, the Himalaya, the Kamadhenu, everything together. Arre baap re. Very big demand. So now this is a teacher, a student telling the teacher, I have understood multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Please teach me integral calculus. Please teach me integral calculus. Right? Yes. See, in the earlier side, he has proved. No, he has said, I have learned how the world originates. Right? He says, bhavapyayoho. He says, how the world originated. I know how it originated. I also know how it will dissolve. Bhava apyayaha. I have heard your cosmic, your greatness. So he has told you already what I have learned. And I have lost my delusion. Remember one thing, we have to understand. Removal of negative does not bring a positive. The removal of delusion has not given him the experience of the reality. So he's now saying, I want that experience. I want to experience you directly. So show me. And he's making a very big demand. Right? Now he suddenly realizes that I made a very big demand. So then he changes his tone and he says in the fourth shloka, Manyase yadi tvachakyam. Manyase yadi tvachakyam. Maya drashtumiti prabho. Maya drashtumiti prabho. Manyase yadi tvachakyam. Maya drashtumiti prabho. Yogeshwara tato me tvam. Yogeshwara tato me tvam. Darshayatmanam avyayam. Darshayatmanam avyayam. Yogeshwara tato me tvam. Darshayatmanam avyayam. Manyase yadi tachakyam. Maya drashtumiti prabho. Yogeshwara tato me tvam. Darshayatmanam avyayam. Manyase, if you think. Yadi sochte ho aisa. Yadi, if. Tat, that. Shakyam, possible. Yadi sakte ho to, main kar sakta hu. That is where it is coming from, right? Maya, by me. Drashtum, to see. Iti, thus. Prabhu, Prabhu, we will examine this word. Prabhu. Yogeshwara. Again, we will examine that word. Tato, tataha means then. Me, tato me, because of the sandhi, tato me. Then to me, tvam, you, darshaya, reveal, atmanam, yourself, avyayam. Please reveal your imperishable, your cosmic, imperishable cosmic form to me. If you think I have the capacity to be able to see it. So he says, I have understood plus minus divide multiply. And now I want you to teach me integral calculus. Now, having made that demand, he says, but please, show it. But if you think I can understand. So he changed the tone. He changed the tone and he used this. Now, let us look at the two words here. One is the word Prabhu. What is the meaning of the word Prabhu?
संपूर्ण सृष्टि के को जो चलाते हैं वो प्रभु.
Okay. Any other meaning? So there are multiple meanings of the word Prabhu. Okay. Lord.
Swayambhu, let's
No. So Prabhu, the word Prabhu means Lord, it means authority, it means master, it means mighty, it means, very interesting now, look at this one, owner, it means powerful, right? So the word Prabhu has also another meaning. It also means he who is eternal, he who is constant. These are adjectives when Prabhu is used as a adjective, not as a noun. Right? The word Prabhu itself is also means Mercury. Ever changing. Ever changing. This entire cosmos is continuously changing. And I know that you are this cosmos. Constant change. And therefore I want to call you Prabhu. Prabhu is somebody who has more powerful than me. Prabhu is somebody who excels in things over beyond me. Prabhu is somebody who is also my ruler. I am subservient to him. And when I say I am subservient, immediately one big thing happens. My ego has gone. And then he says, O Yogeshwara. He addresses him as Yogeshwara. What is the difference? Yogeshwara and Yogeshwara.
योगेश्वर यानी जो स्वयं योग कर रहा है, योगेश्वर जो जिसकी प्रभा से सबको योग प्राप्त।
वेरी नाइस, बहुत अच्छा, एग्जैक्टली। योगीश्वर वो है जो योग खुद कर रहा है और योग के चरम सीमा पे पहुंचा है, यानी जितने योगी है वो उनको रोल मॉडल मान के चलते हैं। दैट इज शिवा। So Shiva is treated as or given the upadhi of Yogishwara. Shiva, when he is doing yoga, what is he using? He is using methodologies, correct? He is the one who has taught us all the 112 methodologies, right? So Vijnana Bhairava Tantra and all that, 112 methodologies. They have all come from Shiva. How did he learn those methodologies? He learned it when he is in the form of Yogeshwara. He who is the master of all the methodologies. Master of yoga, not yogi. And what are the yogas? And why is he being addressed like this? Very beautiful. See in the Bhagavad Geeta itself. The three basic major parts of the yogas. Karma yoga, Jnana yoga, Bhakti yoga. All of them are taught through this particular one text. By Sri Krishna himself. Hence he is Yogeshwara. So Krishna is quite often addressed as Yogeshwara Krishna. So Yogeshwara Krishna, oh Yogeshwara, please teach me the methods. Oh, you have taught me the methods. Now display those methods to me. Give me that experience. Yes, please, go ahead.
So when you join yogi with Ishvara, it's Yogishwara. When you join yoga with Ishvara, it's Yogeshwara. Okay.
Correct. So yoga plus e, generally normal Sanskrit grammar will have a. So yoga plus Ishvara, Yogeshwara. Yogi plus Ishvara will become a long e. So Yogishwara. That is the rule of every Sanskrit grammar rule will have certain exceptions. Those exceptions also are very clearly listed out. Unlike in English grammar, where the exceptions are, you'll have to discover those. Here there are exceptions which are also listed out. And the reasoning for those exceptions are also given. So that is where we will stop today, where Krishna has been made a certain set of demands by Arjuna. And then in the next class, we will examine how Krishna responds to them. Right? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.